The company released Windows 95 on August 24th, 1995, featuring a preemptive multitasking, a completely new user interface with a novel start button and 32-bit compatibility. Similar to NT, it provided the Win32 API. Windows 95 came bundled with the online service MSN, which was the first intended to be a competitor to the Internet, and for OEMs, Internet Explorer, a web browser. Internet Explorer was bundled with the retail Windows 95 boxes because the boxes were printed before the team finished the web browser, and instead was included in the Windows 95 Plus pack. Branching out into new markets in 1996, Microsoft and General Electric's NBC unit curated new 24/7 cable news channel MSNBC. Microsoft created Windows CE 1.0, a new OS designed for devices with low memory and other constraints such as personal digital assistants. In October 1997, the Justice Department filed a motion in the Federal District Court stating that Microsoft violated an agreement signed in 1994 and asked the court to stop bundling of Internet Explorer with Windows. On January 13, 2000, Bill Gates handed over the CEO position to Steve Ballmer, an old college friend of Gates and employee of the company since 1980, while creating a new position for himself, Chief Software Architect. Various companies, including Microsoft, formed the Trusted Computing Platform Alliance in October 1999 to, among other things, increase security and protect intellectual property through identifying changes in hardware and software. Critics decried the alliance as a new way to enforce indiscriminate restrictions over how consumers use software and how computers behave, and as a form of digital rights management. For example, the scenario where the computer is not only secured for its owner, but also secured against its owner as well. On April 3, 2000, a judgment was handed down in the case of United States v. Microsoft Corporate, calling the company as an abusive monopoly. Microsoft later settled with the U.S. Department of Justice in 2004. On October 25, 2001, Microsoft released Windows XP, unifying the mainstream and NT lines of OS under the NT codebase. The company released the Xbox later that year, entering the video game console market dominated by Sony and Nintendo. In March 2004, the European Union brought antitrust legal action against the company, citing it abused its dominance with Windows OS, resulting in a judgment of 497 million euros, which is $613 million, and requiring Microsoft to produce new versions of Windows XP without Windows Media Player, Windows XP Home Edition N, and Windows XP Professional N. In November 2005, the company's second video game console, the Xbox 360, was released. There were two versions, a basic version for $299.99 and a deluxe version for $399.99. Microsoft Azure, Windows Vista, Windows 7, and Microsoft Stores from 2007 to 2011. Released in January 2007, the next version of Windows Vista focused on feature security and a redesigned user interface dubbed Aero. Microsoft Office 2007, released at the same time, featured a ribbon user interface, which was a significant departure from its predecessors' relatively strong sales, and both products helped to produce a record profit in 2007. The European Union imposed another fine of 899 million euros, which is $1.4 billion, for Microsoft's lack of compliance with the March 2004 judgment on February 27, 2008, saying that the company charged rivals unreasonable prices for key information about its workgroup and back office servers. Microsoft stated that it was in compliance and that these fines are about the past issues that have been resolved. 2007 also saw the creation of a multi-core unit at Microsoft, following the steps of server companies such as Sun and IBM. Gates retired from his role as chief software architect on June 27, 2008, a decision announced in June 2006, while retaining other positions related to the company in addition to being an advisor for the company on key projects. Azure Services Platform, the company's entry into the cloud computing market for Windows, launched on October 27, 2008. On February 12, 2009, Microsoft announced its intent to open a chain of Microsoft-branded retail stores, and on October 22, 2009, the first retail Microsoft store opened in Scottsdale, Arizona. The same day, Windows 7 was officially released to the public. Windows 7's focus was on refining Vista with ease of use features and performance enhancements rather than an extensive reworking of Windows. As the smartphone industry boomed in 2007, Microsoft had struggled to keep up with its rivals Apple and Google in providing a modern smartphone operating system. As a result, in 2010, Microsoft revamped their aging flagship mobile operating system, Windows Mobile, replacing it with the new Windows Phone OS. Microsoft implemented a new strategy for the software industry that had them working more closely with smartphone manufacturers such as Nokia and providing a consistent user experience across all smartphones using the Windows Phone OS. It used a new user interface design language, codenamed Metro, which prominently used simple shapes, typography, and iconography, utilizing the concept of minimalism. Microsoft is a founding member of the Open Networking Foundation, started on March 23, 2011. Fellow founders were Google, HP, Networking, Yahoo, Verizon Communications, Dentsu Telecom, and 17 other companies. This non-profit organization is focused on providing support for a new cloud computing initiative called Software-Defined Networking. The initiative is meant to speed innovation through simple software changes in telecommunications networks, wireless networks, data centers, and other networking areas.